All right, this is a highly anticipated season debut, maybe the most anticipated debut on the show. It's our good friend Craig Button, our NHL analyst. And I'm going to walk over to the other side of the expansive Studio 9 and see how he's doing. Craig, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm great. Well, first I have to ask you, how was your summer? You made an incredible trip with one of our star hockey producers to Italy to see someone very special.
We left on free agent frenzy night. Flew to Rome, took the train up to Milan, and saw Bruce Springsteen, San Siro. It was unbelievable. I've never seen him in Europe. People always told me you got to watch him in Europe. And I was in the pit, right there.
Amazing.
8 feet away.
Look,
it was unbelievable.
At this point, he's recognizing you, right? He's like, Craig, you came to another show.
There was a point when he was looking right at Bill. I said, Bill, he's looking right in your eyes.
Oh, we all like to look in Bill's eyes when we get our chance. Connor McDavid. I had one of our producers came up to me yesterday, Francesco. You know Francesco. And he said, how long until Oiler fans start to panic about the fact that Connor McDavid hasn't signed with the Oilers? And I said, his former agent's the president of the team. His wife is opening up bars and restaurants in Edmonton. I don't think they should be worried. But should they be worried?
I don't think they should be worried. I mean, everybody's been waiting to see what was going to happen on July 1st and forward with Connor McDavid. But Connor's been very clear. He's been very clear, hey, it's a big decision. I don't think he's treating this any other way than as a straight-up business decision. What's going to be good? What's the term? I mean, we know whatever the dollars are going to be, he's going to be the highest paid player in the league. Or if he isn't, then something's gone wrong and somebody else has got a lot of money because he's the best player on the planet. But so he's just trying to dot the I's, cross the T's, so to speak, with respect to the negotiations. But I wouldn't be worried if I were the Edmonton Oilers fans because I think he's fully committed to the Oilers. And he said, I want to win. I want to find a way to win. I think that he's dug in with the Edmonton Oilers and he's shown, like, totally that he wants to do everything he can to deliver a Stanley Cup to Edmonton's great legacy of Stanley Cup champions.
Do you see, Craig, is it inevitable, do you think, that it's a shorter-term deal at this point, though?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I mean, when the cap, remember, we dealt with a flat cap for a long period of time, COVID. I call it the COVID CBA. But, you know, the cap's going 95, 104, 113. So, you know, everybody wants to make sure that they don't leave money on the table, so to speak. I mean, it's a lot of money, but we see it in the NBA. Players sign shorter-term contracts, and they get to the longer-term contract. I think that's where Connor McDavid and others find themselves.
Speaking of players who don't like to leave money on the table, Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov. What a guy. This guy is wild. Turns down an 8-year, $128 million deal from the Wild last week that would have made him the highest paid player in the game. We just talked about McDavid. We know Jack Eichel's deal is coming up, and we know Kyle Connor and Winnipeg's deal is coming up. Out of those four, my main question to you is, do you see one of those four actually getting to next July the 1st as an unrestricted free agent?
Do you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see all four of them get to July 4th.
It'd be wild.
Well, it would be great because we were talking about superstars. Obviously, Connor McDavid. We know where Jack Eichel is at. Kyle Connor in Winnipeg has been a phenomenal player, Kaprizov. But imagine if those guys all hit free agency on July 1st, because now what would happen is all the other players that are thinking about free agency, it would almost give them license. You know, we think about the NFL. The NFL has wild free agency. There's players moving all the time. And I think that it does two things. It opens up the market and creates a lot of fun for everybody. It also puts management's feet to the fire. Like, you want to keep a player, you better make sure that you put a competitive team on the ice. And in the NFL, they bring in a coach. If you're no good, you're gone after a year. You know, they switch over. There's no messing around because the players switch. I'd love to see it in the NHL.
If we take McDavid at his word and he ends up re-signing in Edmonton shorter term, and there's lots of talk that Kyle Connor wants to stay in Winnipeg, and there's lots more talk that Jack Eichel wants to re-up in Vegas. Let's just say Kaprizov is the guy. Where could you see that going? Because he's the one guy that seems like he genuinely would like to get to next July the 1st and be unrestricted.
Yeah, I mean, for any of those guys, I mean, what's a player going to say right now? Is a player going to come out and say, Yeah, I'm really not sure if I want to stay. If they all say they want to stay.
Yeah.
Mitch Marner said he wanted to stay.
Yeah.
Right? You know, regardless of what you're thinking about, you're going to say, just to keep a calm through the market and not have to deal with it, you're going to say, I'd like to stay here. But it comes down to dollars. It comes down to what's a fit in term for the team and for the dollars for the player. But when you look at it from all the different points of view, you know, Kaprizov, you know, I remember talking to Jarmo Kekalainen, you know, they had Bobrovsky, they had Panarin in Columbus. Both of them bolted.
Yeah.
Columbus hasn't been the same since that point in time.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. I'm going to ask you a question we're asking every analyst over the next few weeks. Does Sidney Crosby finish the season in Pittsburgh? He says he wants to.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Sidney Crosby says he wants to finish the season in Pittsburgh, Sidney Crosby will finish the season in Pittsburgh.
Can we officially put that to bed, do you think?
Well, I think, why don't we just take him at his word? Take him at his word.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay, well, that's that.
Yeah, that's that. That's right. Like, enough of that.
Rangers made a move that some people thought maybe was somewhat interesting today. I didn't think it was that surprising. JT Miller is the new captain of the New York Rangers. I'm looking at this roster, Craig, and I'm saying, well, who else is going to be the captain of the New York Rangers? Is it Adam Fox? Is it Panarin? Is it Vinny Trocheck? JT Miller seems to be as good a choice as anyone. I'm curious to get your thoughts if you agree.
Can I go one step further?
Sure.
He's the best choice.
Right.
He's an alpha male. He dials in every single shift, every single game. He's wired to win. The New York Rangers have been soft. And when they traded for JT Miller, they got that guy that's wired, that wants to be a difference maker. So when you get that guy, remember, they drafted, a lot of people may not remember this, but the New York Rangers drafted JT Miller in the first round a long time ago.
That's right.
And then they ended up trading him to Tampa Bay, ends up at Vancouver, but he ends up back. I want JT Miller. I think the Vancouver Canucks made a mistake. But that's all in the past. Now, I don't have to belabor it, but I think for him to be the captain, you better jump on board when you're on the team with JT Miller, because if not, it's not going to be pleasant around that room.
Fair enough.
And I like that when you're talking about winning.
Yeah.
Winning's not easy, because if it was, everybody would do it.
I'm just looking at their roster. I don't see anyone else who would have been better. I agree with you. A teaser for you. TSN's preseason draft rankings will be released Wednesday morning. Craig, of course, a huge part of it. I don't want to spoil who will be number one. You might be able to guess. But the guy who was number one back in 2023 was Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard didn't have the best sophomore season. I sometimes feel like you have to look at the roster that was around him a little bit. But overall, how do you feel about his sophomore season? How do you feel he's going to be in his third season? Do you think he's going to make a big leap this year?
I have no worries about Connor Bedard. First of all, the team isn't very good. You just talked about what surrounds him. It's not great. He won the Rookie of the Year. So why don't I use a comparable player? Nathan MacKinnon came in the league. It's very similar to Connor Bedard. You know, first overall, won the Rookie of the Year. It wasn't until the fifth year that Nathan MacKinnon was playing that he went to Nathan MacKinnon level. It's going to take, Connor Bedard just turned 20 this summer. And so I have no worries. I think if you go and look at what Connor Bedard has done in 2 years in Chicago, I think it's beyond impressive considering how bad the team is and what's surrounding them. They got a lot of good young players. They're moving forward in the right direction. And with that, I think you'll see Connor Bedard take further steps forward. He's too good a player. He's too talented. And when you think about all the success that he's had, you know, given, and maybe all the success isn't the right way to put it, but he's had a good measure of success in Chicago.
Yeah.
But as the team gets stronger, I think he'll only get that much better.
Speaking of getting much better, could anything be better than Gino Retta's new beard that he is sporting this season? Craig, I'd just love to get your thoughts on, because you're a sartorial genius. You know how to dress. You know how to put yourself together. What do you think of this look for Gino?
Well, I think it's going to be fantastic around Christmas when we have all our Christmas decorations up, and he can wear a red suit and maybe a little hat, and he can bring Christmas cheer to everybody in the building.
I mean, his beard and my beard are pretty much the same color, so we could go as twin Santas, but what would your beard be like, Craig? Would you consider growing one like us?
Never.
Okay.
No, I can't stand it. 3 days is the longest I can go. Gino looks pretty good.
He does.
I hope he's not hiding anything.
No, I hope he's not hiding anything either. Craig's going to be back on tomorrow's show. We're going to talk about the upcoming prospects list. I'm so excited to chat with you about that. You know I love talking.
I know you do.
Talking about the draft with you. So that'll be tomorrow. And Craig will probably be wearing a different tie.